You want to hear something really crazy? 11 months ago, I was just getting robbed, literally, at gunpoint. I was staying with a girl. She set me up with, like, the father, like, of her kids. I got robbed.
Yeah. Yo, what is up? Welcome back to The Social Seller. It is episode 2. I am so excited. Today we not only have a special guest, but this is the progression of years in the making, right? And teaching what is the social seller, right? The social seller is the new paradigm of sales and getting away from the old ways, right? What if we provide value first and we actually help people, right? It's not about slimy tactics and throwing, sales down people's throats or taking advantage of people. No, it's if you're a quality human, quality communicator, and that's why we have Mr. Sean Adams here today. I'm pumped. I'm excited. Sean and I connected about a week ago. So this is going to be vastly different than the previous episode because I'm still getting to know him. What I do know is I'm an energy person, and you are too, right? The second we met, I knew that we had a lot of similarities. Have you ever felt that with other salespeople?
Sometimes.
Okay,
good ones.
Just communicating. Yeah, all right. I mean in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Sean Adams, I'm going to give you a brief intro, and then I want you to bring it up. So I'm excited because you're the first fellow Midwesterner that I get to bring on.
Come
right?
on.
So you're from St. Louis, home of Andy Frisella. Doesn't he make the Midwest probably look the best out of like any content creator that's constantly doing it?
Come on.
And the biggest thing, will you look in the camera quick? You have $1 million smile. This guy can just pull in humans like no other. It's a magnet. So I know you're in the Navy. You're 27 years old. We're the same exact age.
Yeah.
And you're currently doing anywhere from 45 to 50K a month.
Yeah.
While being full-time in the Navy. And we'll talk about that here in a second. You're a high-ticket sales coach, man.
Yeah.
You help people get from point A to their ideal, their dream life,
Yeah.
right? So let me hand it off to you.
Yeah.
Grew up in St. Louis.
Yeah.
How'd you get to San Diego?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a killer introduction. Yeah, I grew up in St. Louis. At the time, I used to, want to be like a lawyer. I had like an academic scholarship. Was balancing like school with 2 jobs full time. And I was like, yo, I'm doing all this. Forget this. To just take out loans for law school, I'm cool.
How far did you make it into school?
Second year. I didn't really like it, to be completely honest with you. I was always smart, but like, school just felt stupid to me. It just felt wrong. So I joined the military, to become a lawyer. Wanted to like do something bigger and like better like with my life. And it brought me to beautiful San Diego, man. And I'm so lucky, so fortunate, so blessed,
I love it. We share that same excitement. And I think it's also, if you grow up in a place where you have really cold winters and I mean, we're talking like at times it gets 30 below windshields, right? Where you go outside and it hurts your body. And then in the summers, not only 105 degrees, but there's humidity, right?
Yep.
And then you can find these pockets of the world that have consistent weather, and it's a game changer, right?
When's the last time you've been bit by a mosquito, Conor?
Oh, dude, that's been a bit.
Exactly.
It's been at least six to 8 months. Yeah. But it is kind of wintertime, quote unquote, here. So
Exactly.
No, I love this. So how long have you been in SD? And you moved out here because of the Navy originally?
I did. I've been out in San Diego since 2016.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you had me beat. You're close. The joke in San Diego is if you've been here, at least you have to be here 10 years before you're local, right? So whenever I meet someone that's like, oh, I've been here 20 years or 22 years, I'm like, oh, 2-time local. You always get a good laugh, right? So I do want to hop in. Sean, for anyone listening, man, how do you spend your time?
In production. And if I'm not in production, development. That's literally like the main thing. You just focus on like what I can create in the world, and I know like the rest will come. If I spend my time actually creating ways to like help people, give value to the marketplace, the life, everything that I want to come to me. So that's how I spend my time. I
love that. And I'm curious, break down production. What does production mean to you?
Just like making things happen. Actually, getting in communication with people is literally what I call production. Because if you get in communication with people, that's all like sales is. Like, it's just communicating with people, figuring out ways to actually like help people, figuring out, what like the marketplace needs and creating, products based on like, that feedback.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's exactly right. And just, right before this interview, seeing some of your content for the first time on platforms, I know we're connected on Insta and your content's awesome, right? But seeing that you have almost more social pull on other platforms that I don't. So I'm excited to break that down. What would you say your top 2 social platforms are for actually bringing in business?
Facebook and Facebook.
All right. I'm excited to break that down a little bit.
Facebook and Facebook.
Yeah, just to hop in because I come from an Instagram background, right? And helping brands and professionals turn followers to customers, right? And that was like 4 years ago, right? That was the progression of Uptown. Now, we never really dabbled on Facebook. So are you in the groups? Are you pursuing the $1.80 strategy? Like what does that look like? What have you found currently today that works the best for you on Facebook?
Man, I love Facebook groups. I love Facebook groups because like, and it's like some super secret squirrel stuff that I'm giving you guys. So like, I just always believe in like positioning yourself at like the bottom of the funnel. And it may be a little crazy, but like one of the best tactics, I'll give you some super secret squirrel stuff, is like to like actually go through like a paid program. So like buy like a course for like $97. That's like a competitor or like in your like your field or like niche. And then just genuinely give more back to the world than like you take. Actually like be there and try to like help people, and like it'll just blow your business up. It'll blow your business up. It's crazy. I like Facebook over Instagram because it's an entirely different demographic. Like, how many times have you seen like CEOs of like companies that have like 200 followers barely use Instagram? You know?
Yeah, they don't. It's like there, right?
Exactly.
Their assistant told them they need one.
Exactly.
Right? Summer intern, and they don't.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time for most of them.
And I just been a big believer in like high ticket, you know? Like, I just feel like it's like more ethical for like you and more ethical for like the people you deal with. Like, you know, like I have this belief that like, you know, outcomes come from like sacrifice, and sacrifice. I mean, outcomes come from commitment, and commitment comes from sacrifice. So the more people sacrifice, the more like that committed they'll be to something, and the more committed you are to something, the better results you'll get, right? Yeah. And you'll feel a lot better, you know, like once you get actually like paid like your worth. I feel like a lot of coaches, a lot of people, they try to like do like hourly, or they try to like do a lot of free service, and they're like dreading work. But when somebody pays you like 10, 20, 30, 40, even $50,000 for your service, and you know you can like over deliver on that, it's just a better win-win for, you know, both people involved.
Yeah. No, I love that. And that makes so much sense. And I've experienced in my life that, you know, when you're dealing with adversity and you're feeling the lowest lows, you're so fucking close to some big wins, right? And I just recently went through probably one of those biggest dips in my life, and I love it, right? It brought out a version of me that I've never experienced. I'm so happy. I'm proud of who I am today, personally, professionally, like spiritually, right? But I had to feel some depths, and it sucked, man, right? Like getting out of that shit and moving forward. But then you break into something new, right? You start to identify who you are. And I feel like when you have that authentic voice and you're coming from a loving state, right? Like that's why you're on this, right? When we talked, you didn't want to plug anything. You're here to provide value. And that's genuinely what we want to do with the social sellers. So I love that you break that down. And hard work is one thing, consistency is one thing. But when you do it, and for me in this last 6 months, I was doing it for like 4 months straight, and I'm like, what the hell? Like nothing would, like I knew the ceiling was right here, and I couldn't get it. And then you start to get a little discouraged, but you just keep going. And this past week was transformational.
That's awesome.
Transformational.
And what'd you do that was like different? Like, how did you get through like that plateau? Because
I
have
love
a theory
this. I love that we're flipping it. Yes, let's go.
But
Great communicators. Yeah. So I think there were a couple things. Right? So for me, it was just the consistency. It's really when you are so close to giving up, that is when you have to keep pushing through, right? And the last few weeks, I probably wasn't as happy with myself and how I was performing for the team, right? Like I'm always going to hold myself to a really high standard. And this week just changed that. And I think that it was a lot on the mindset. For me, it was getting back to my normal routines. Anyone that knows me personally knows that I am extremely routine heavy. I like waking up early. I like going to bed early, Monday through Friday, right? But I think it was the consistency. And then the other part was I have a good friend. She's a spiritual healer. And we actually talked about it because you're going to meet Denise here. And she was kind enough to come over and give me my first like Reiki session, right? So for anyone that doesn't know, this is probably on like the alternative health side of things, but it deals with your chakras, right? We have 7. She opened them up, cleaned this blockage like with bells, or not bells, but tuning forks and in these special bowls, right? And when I first moved out here, I wouldn't probably like believe in any of this. And I just did. I was helping a friend, but I wanted to experience this first. You know, I love doing things for the first time. But this happened the night before, all of a sudden, you know, like closing 20K the next day, or 18, right? And getting a verbal commitment for 20K 30 days from now because it's a government agency. So we're just waiting for the mailed check, right? So I don't want to say it was only that. The timeliness is crazy. And I also think the universe has a big play in it too. I think working our ass off, taking action aligned with our values, the universe gives those people more breaks,
Yep.
right? Would you consider yourself a lucky person?
I would, but I also will say the fact that luck favors the prepared.
That's exactly where I was going.
You know,
I'm the
And
luckiest fucking person in
Yeah.
the world, I feel. Like, I genuinely feel that way.
luck favors the prepared, and I just feel like sometimes you get like moments like me and you. We're gonna do a lot of business together.
Yeah.
And it was luck that we came across each other. But had I not like we not been positioned, had we not like been prepared, then we would have never even been able to like take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So it's just like you got to be prepared to take advantage of like opportunities once they like come your way. And that's just like the truth. So when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
And for like viewers, listeners that are maybe new to entrepreneurship, or let's say that they might be younger, they might be in their teens, they might be in their 20s or 30s or 40s, whatever, and they're at this point where they think, you know, they know that they could be doing something more. Maybe they could start their own thing. But I know for me, when I started, I felt like I couldn't live the day-to-day life and go places and see opportunity like my friends that were entrepreneurs, right? What would you say to someone that maybe doesn't have the skill set yet to identify opportunity? How do they start practicing that, right?
Yeah. So I just feel like that's a very good question. I just feel like if you're going hard, like really like going hard and trying like entrepreneurship and like trying to get results at something and it's not working, if you're going hard in life and you're not winning, it's because like your ethics are like messed up. That's literally what I believe. And that ethics, I mean like, oh, you're not a bad person, but like you want to be Michael Jordan, but you're not like practicing. You know, you want people to invest in you, but you don't invest in yourself.
Yeah.
You want to be a millionaire, but you don't make your bed in the morning.
Mm.
That's just not ethical. You want to have a nice smile, but you don't brush your teeth and floss. It's not ethical.
Yep.
Doesn't make sense. You want to have a good relationship, but you cheat on your spouse. It's not. You're out of ethics. It's not.
Yep.
You're never going to win that way. So, I believe the best investment you can make is into yourself, and you have to kind of be humble and actually get like a mentorship. I'm a big believer
Yes.
in like mentorship. I've probably spent over $80,000 in the last 10 months on mentorship.
Just mentorship.
Just mentorship.
Just mentorship. Yeah.
But that's why I literally, you know, I didn't freaking gain the ability to make $50,000 a month until like I spent $50,000 in like my own development, and that's just like the truth.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I had imposter syndrome in this sense that I didn't want to spend money.
Yeah.
I'm a frugal person, right? I'm doing well right now in life, but I'm a frugal person. And early on, I was like, why the hell? Like, I'm going to play this student card thing and try to get some mentors. But you hit this ceiling, right? If you want to continue growing, your mentors need to grow too, right?
Yep.
Like, you have to level up your mentors.
Yeah.
And moving out here, I realized that, right? I was so fortunate to have 3 or 4 of the best mentors back in Iowa City. And now I have a couple. They're virtual, but I'm not currently paying for any. I'm about to start working with a coach too. So, but always on and off, right? A couple months ago our team is our leadership team. And I don't think enough people understand that you have to put some money into it. And I know you know Kevin Dana.
Yeah.
Kevin spent, I think he said $50K or so on just like education, mentorship. And I know he'll pay, like, he wouldn't even think about it, right? He'll pay $1,000 to hop on a 30-minute call with a high-ticket sales coach, right? Like, that's no problem. I want to learn what this person thinks. Now, I think what you're talking about, too, is you open up this really cool opportunity for humans that most people don't experience, right? When you pay for these high-level people, you got to start spending time with them. And when you start spending time with them, just like yourself, I look up to you, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you are at a level... You've created things in your personal brand, your content, like you see things differently.
Yeah.
And we're going about it in different ways. So I really have a ton of appreciation for it. And by simply spending time with the people you look up to, and these people have to continue leveling up, you just realize that it's simple, that successful people have simple filters, right? Whoa, this guy's human. He's just like me. But the more time you spend with him, all of a sudden, naturally, you start working harder.
Yep.
And naturally, your routine might get better, right?
Yep.
You see these things that they do.
100%.
Yeah. Who's the most successful person that's been in your life or helped you? And how was that? When did they come into your life?
Oh, I would say the most successful person right now that I know is probably like my number one coach. His name is Mike. Mike, if you're watching this, shout out. He's a great man. Last month he did 2.1 mil.
Wow.
You know,
In sales,
like
high ticket?
coaching.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's
you
insane.
guys, that's a really high level. Like very, very few people. I mean, that's top 1% of, I don't know, what, 0.1%, right?
Yeah.
Like that's awesome.
That's insane. And he's just a very like kind and like ethical guy, and like, you know, we have a lot of like the same like philosophies, like the more you actually want to help people, the more money like you'll actually like create. Like when I take on clients, it's not even like about like the money. Like I'll be honest with you, if I could help people for free, I would.
Yeah.
I really would. But there's this thing called ethics. And if I want to teach you how to have like your own high ticket business, if I want to teach you how to like feel comfortable asking somebody for $30,000, but you've never invested anything yourself, you're going to be out of ethics and it's not going to work. I can ask somebody for $50,000 ethically because I've spent way more. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So Absolutely. I do it for them, you know, that's to be honest.
And you speak on a critical point, and I love this because this is such a good context and conversation to bring up, because when you get to a certain point, I know you look at yourself, and I feel in myself, I have this moral obligation to help. Yep. I have to get paid what I know I deserve to help the people that I know are willing to work to get to the highest level possible too, right? And I know you're the same way. You want to help, but there's degrees of, I have to live my life. If I try to help everyone and not earn an income, right? Not only am I taking away from the business, but I'm taking away from the bigger picture on this global scale and how we positively influence on a global scale, right? So I have to think big picture. Sometimes in the short term you can't, which also goes back to pay for a mentor, pay for courses, be around these people. Laws of proximity.
I don't do a lot of courses. Courses are cool, but for me, I haven't done courses yet because like I really want to, like for me, it's not about the money. You can make a lot more money with courses because like you don't have to be there, you record it once. But I really want to get results. Like when people invest with me, I want it to be the best money they ever spent, like in their life. And I wanted to know, like, your opinion on that. You say get paid your worth. Like, what do you mean by that? Because I believe there's like 4 types of like exchange.
Yeah. So I'm more in regards to like the priority and timeline, right? So if I'm not focusing on my highest priority right now, and for me, it's leading the sales team and it's closing deals and it's doing high level partnerships for Uptown creation, right? And we're in a really good spot right now. If I'm doing things that are taking away from that, whether it's taking away mental energy, physical energy, just time, right? Time's probably the biggest one, that it's going to throw me off. Yeah. And when you start to really value your time, I look at my time in my window as like 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. is like my golden hours, right? Like that's where I know my brain's working efficiently. So then even later in the day, so what I'm getting back to is I just prioritize it. I see it as a timeline, right? Yep. So I value myself saying I have a moral obligation because I know I'm going to positively influence on a global scale, right? And I know you think in the same light. You think big picture, and you can say it with conviction because you know it's going to happen. There's 100%. No other alternative, right? I mean, what I love is we met, you go, as soon as I'm out of the Navy, I got into it for the right reasons, right? And you did. What I love is you're a value-based man. Like you take action aligned with values. That is what a social seller is. It is being a quality human, leading by example. And you go from mentioning, in a few months I'll be out of the Navy, and at that point I'll be at $1 million a month. And I love it because your coach has already done it. So you know it's achievable, and you're around someone that can teach you those systems, the processes, what it looks like, right? And I'd love to dive in. Why did you get into the Navy originally? Can you explain that and where you're kind of at today?
Yeah, awesome. I just wanted to serve like my country and like just do something different and kind of like be like my own man. Nobody in my family had like served. And they make a lot of sacrifices, like a lot. And I, if it was up to me, I think everybody should do 4 years. I know that sounds crazy, but I think they have like a lot more like appreciation. So I just really wanted to do that. And I don't want to be on my high horse and say, I just want to serve my country. That was like the main thing. Also like the benefits, I didn't want to pay for law school at the time. Turns out I didn't even like go to law school. By the way, if you're watching, California is one of 3 states in the country where you can become a lawyer without going to law school. Look it up, save yourself some money.
Chris, I know you'll be listening to this.
So that was like the main thing. I really just wanted to like get away and like just, venture off on like a new path and like a new start and actually do something like that I felt like would be like great in my life.
Yeah, and what's wild is it wasn't like you were a teenage dropout. I was almost gonna say teenage dirtbag. I don't know if you remember that song. Well, but you got into it when you were already 2 years into law school, and I think that also speaks to your values, and that's what speaks to me. What do you think growing up in the Midwest has enabled you to do that kind of gives you an advantage maybe in life or communicating with people?
Genuine. I just feel like, what they call us from Missouri, the show me state. You got to show me. So you just have to be real. You have to be genuine. You have to be like just honest. And I feel like that's like helped me a lot in my career. I'm just real genuine and like honest. And some people, they don't like it, to be completely honest. But like, I got to do like what I feel like is ethical. Like if I genuinely care about you and like you're doing something that I feel like is maladaptive to like your success, I owe it to you ethically and morally to be like, hey man, like yo, like you doing this is not in alignment with your goals. Like fix it. You know what I mean? Like if I genuinely care about you. And I just feel like we live in like a society where like people see stuff wrong, but they're scared to like have an opinion or like say it, Yeah. And that's really the beauty of like coaching, because you have like the licensed professional, but they can only stick to like the contract. They can't give you like sometimes they can't give you like financial advice, or they can't meet with you for more than like an hour. And then you have like the friend who they love you and they're compassionate, but they're scared to like rub your feathers the wrong way.
Yep.
But then you have the coach who's like your friend and the licensed professional.
That you're paying. That you're paying
exactly.
to tell you.
That
right?
they can do whatever the fuck they want, Excuse my language. They can do whatever they want, which is awesome, and they like genuinely care about you, and there's really like no rules. They're gonna do everything they can do to like help you, which is awesome, and hold you accountable.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So I completely agree. And I didn't like accountability early on in life. I didn't. There's still sometimes that I feel it. I'm like, oh God. But then I remind myself with that awareness, it's like, no, this is the only way, right? Yeah. And there's studies that have shown in men, the more we can take criticism from our fellow male, the more alpha we are, right? Whether you're measuring testosterone. So I look at that as like this gas tank almost, right? Now I actively go out to the people that I used to be scared of their opinions because I knew they knew me well and they'd call me out. Now I go to them actively and I get their feedback. And what's awesome is usually it's decent, but I'm looking for the constructive shit, right? Even like these episodes, right? We got a lot of feedback. We're stepping things up. We know what the next level might look like. Hey, we've never done a podcast before. This is just us trying to provide value back, and I know that's why you're on here too. So thanks again. Now, I want to switch it. What's been your lowest point in life, and how'd you break through?
Like in my adult life or in my life period?
All.
I would say the lowest point, I don't know. I'm from I don't know about you, but my upbringing was like pretty crazy. Like, let's just say I got 7 brothers and sisters. We all got different dads. Like each one of us, I'm not supposed to like be here. I'm really not. Like my mom was like addicted to like heroin, almost threw me away as a baby.
Oh shit.
Luckily I got taken into like foster care because like she like left me with some people and like never came back.
At what age?
When I was like a baby. Yeah.
Wow.
So I grew up in like foster care. You just go through like a bunch of like crazy like adversity. I was lucky enough by the time I was 8, I got adopted. Relationship with like my adoptive dad wasn't the best, but like one thing he did show me was like work ethic. He has like 5 degrees, PhD. Never took out a student loan ever. Always had a full-time job, a part-time job, and was in school full-time since I known him.
Wow.
When I first moved with him, literally I remember sleeping on the ground. Like, bullets would come through because we stayed in like the projects. Bullets would come through the window, like legit. It was not safe to sleep in like your bed. And by the time I was 17, we had a house in the suburbs and I had a brand new car,
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So I saw like how hard work can like, change everything. But, with that, at the same time, he just was very like stuck in his ways and like, once I decided to join the military, he was doing it out of love. I realized that back then, I realize it now, but back then I didn't. Like, so when I decided to join the military, he was just like, oh, heck no. So he like kind of kicked me out, took my car, took my phone. I was like homeless for like a month before I joined. That kind of sucked.
Wow.
But,
can you talk about that though?
Yeah.
So a month, you're into law school at this point, right?
Yeah, no, I was in school.
You're in school. Okay, I got you. So you're in your second year in school.
Yeah.
And at the time, if I was in the same shoes, like you don't know your dad's coming out of love, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But he's trying to protect you. But in that moment, it's like, you're not supporting me.
Yeah, not at all.
What did you feel like when someone that's, raised you to go from foster care to find a parent at 8 and to see work, his work ethic, but then to have that kind of happen? What was going through your mind?
Well, there's a lot of things. I could have been a better son. I could have communicated, because I believe that communication is like the dissolvent of all problems. There's nothing that can't be solved with communication. Like, I don't care what happened. If you communicate, you can either prevent it or like overcome it, and that's just the honest to God truth.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how I was feeling like in that moment, I was just like, wow, like that's crazy. It still shocks me. I still disagree with it. But you just have to do and like get through it, and that's what I did, and
I love it.
It helped shape me. So
exactly.
I remember walking, and I was just like, before I joined the Navy, I was just like, man, I'll never walk again. Walking everywhere. I will never walk again. I'll never walk again, ever. I will never in my life walk again. I remember that. I remember that moment.
Do you remember the day?
I don't remember the exact day, to be completely honest with you. It had to be sometime in August. Yeah, August.
So hot day, hot-ass day, 4th. And you're walking. Where are you walking? What was your daily routine?
Walking to the store. Literally walking to the store to get like some water and like some like deodorant, just to like keep myself like clean. And it was just like,
wow. Wow.
I'll never forget that, man. I will never forget it.
I love that. And thank you for sharing, man,
Yeah.
Because what I've learned, and I'm continuing to learn, is that the happiest people, guys, a lot of times find a lot of success in whatever ways, right? It might not be financial, but they're happy, and that's what we're looking for in life. But the happiest people have gone through the hardest shit.
Yeah.
They have felt things that most people haven't, right? And as long as they've pulled themselves out, it's, for a lot of people, that's fuel.
Yeah.
You just put jet fuel in me. And
yeah.
I think the other big point that I want to bring out here is your foster dad. Because when we're between the ages of like 5 to 12, those are pivotal ages, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they say, we're a reflection of our environment, right? We become that. And so it was awesome that you had a dad that had degrees, right? But to go from living in the ghetto and having to jump to the floor and there's bullets being shot, right? To then graduating high school, and by that time, your dad, you guys lived in a suburb, right? So you saw the progression. And I think there's a handful. You hit the window of opportunity, right? Because I have friends and people I know in a variety of circles that grew up with a lot of money, successful parents, right? And maybe they were trust fund. Maybe it was, or maybe they were just successful,
yeah.
right? It might have been easy. And a lot of people might look at them and go, oh, they have a huge advantage, right? Like they're going to be very successful. And a lot of times those people might not be, right? Or they get addicted to something,
yep.
or there's relationship problems. And so on the reverse end, I just see the value because you had a mentor and you got to experience, you had a role model in your life that was in the lows, but you
yeah.
saw the progression to the highs.
100%.
Right? That is, I feel that now in you, and I see why you are so energized. My guess is 24/7.
Oh, dude, I'm always.
I love it. I love it.
And about that, like this is totally off track. I want to say that, like, do you feel like there's a dichotomy between like successful people? Because I feel like, not all the time, but a lot of times, there's a difference between people that are like self-made and people that like are not necessarily self-made, like trust fund babies, like even like athletes, even like actors, even like musicians. I don't consider them necessarily self-made. They're very talented, but they have like high-paying jobs, and they battle things like addiction. They battle things like depression. They battle things with not feeling fulfilled. I've personally, and I don't want to overgeneralize, I've never met a self-made millionaire, somebody that actually created something that was not a person of impeccable character. I've never come across it in my life. Like everybody that's actually been a self-made millionaire that's actually like done great things in the world has always been somebody of like the highest character. That's just been my experience. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah. I mean, I have to completely agree, right? And then one person comes to my mind.
Really?
That might be an outlier.
Yeah,
right?
really?
So in college, I did a ton of business competitions. Yeah. And I think that's where I started to fall in love with this passion, right?
Yeah.
And being on stage, but you can make money from it, right? And it's untaxed. And when you're in college, like, it looks good for the university, so they fly you places. And I just remember there was this event called CEO, and the College Entrepreneurs Organization, and it was in Tampa. And I went down, and I had some other friends there that knew some connected people, right? And all of a sudden we were getting invites, me and just a couple friends from, I don't even know, right? This was like 8, 9 years ago. And we were in this room that it was only like 10 of us.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, yeah, the founder of Redbox is going to be coming in here. You know Redbox, right? They still have them in some stores and things, right? It's still DVDs, which is starting to feel like they're probably going to be out of, they won't exist here in a little bit. And I remember being so pumped, and I forget the guy's name, right? And I don't know if he's self-made or not, but he made Redbox, right? This is his company. And I was so looking for it because every successful person up to this point, I mean, I didn't meet that many, right? I was 21. But everyone I had met up to that point, I looked up to and I completely agree. And still today I do. Well, he comes in and he starts and I'm just like so excited. I'm one of 2 people with my notepad. This notepad goes everywhere with me. I take notes anytime, and I'm sure you do too, right? Note takers are money makers, right?
On, say it again.
Now, note takers are money makers, and it is the truth. Your own handwriting, it's foundational, right? Like, do you write your goals in handwriting? Like, do you have them month after month? You have to. You have to be disciplined. But so this co-founder, right, or founder of Redbox comes in. He's probably like 55 years old at the time. And I'm going to butcher this, but dude, just the opposite. So much ego. It just blew my mind. And I forget, we did like a quick little elevator pitch. Everyone that was there, the students kind of did 30 seconds of like, so the guy had context and like, hey, our business does this. Our business does this. And he stopped on someone. And they said their 30-second pitch. And he goes, that's not going to fucking work. And that was like, wait, whoa.
How old was he?
Like, he's got to be kidding. He's like, I would say at the time, 55, 60.
That makes sense.
And then he ends up going, and coming from the Midwest, this is just really hard for me to hear, right? And I feel like, because just the opposite end of the spectrum, right? We just maybe weren't raised with these people around us. There's pros and cons to anywhere you grow up. But then he started going, I can't believe I'm here in Tampa when I could be on my island waking up not having to worry. And I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating this, guys. I am not exaggerating. He said it with a jokingly voice, but like everyone in there lost. And you just lose respect and then you start losing attention. And I don't know if it was like last minute if this guy knew he was coming in to speak to us, but that just shook me, man.
Yeah.
It shook me. Like I left and I was like, dude, I look up to this guy. What? Like I just met the founder of Chuck E. Cheese and he's 10, 15 years older than this guy. He's like 95, about to pass away. And he's over here like giving every piece of advice, like just giving love to everyone. He's like, hey, I will wait in line if every single person wants to meet me. And this guy's over here saying, I have 4 different homes, right? And what's funny is this was when Redbox was like, I mean,
popping.
It was popping. So it was like cool to be like, oh, yeah, this is him.
But look at Redbox now.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
And just the way he talked, I could tell it sounded like he had a lot of challenges in his life. His relationship with his wife and how he referred to her a couple times. Yeah. Little things. And when you're a communicator, you look for those little subtle cues, right?
And to be fair, like I will say this. Like if you're unethical, you can achieve like success, but it will not be sustained.
Exactly.
There's people that rob, that scam, that do all of those things. So I was talking to you earlier about the value, the 4 exchanges in the value. So like I believe there's one, people like exchange and then they get nothing in return, which is criminal. That's like a scam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's 2. You know, somebody may pay you like $10,000, but they only get like a few $1,000s worth of value. And then there's number 3, exchanging like fair value. Okay, so people pay for a BMW, they get a BMW. They pay for a Mercedes, they get a Mercedes. That's how most businesses run. They're super successful people, and this is how I want to operate. This is what I always strive to operate for: is exchange in abundance. I always want to give more than I take.
Love that. And
that right there, I feel like makes you limitless. If you literally care about exchanging in abundance, like if somebody invests with me, if somebody like does business with me, or has a friendship with me, or any type of relationship with me, like I want to give more than I actually take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just feel like if you do that and you're like ethical about it, then like you will always win 100% of the time.
Give to win.
Yes.
Give to win.
And win like truly be like limitless, like truly be limitless, you know, like.
I love that. I love that. And then it just taps into like, if you live in an abundant state, you have gratitude, right? Yep. And you're giving a lot more. You're giving love, you're giving energy, you're giving time to people, right? And it just opens up this special place, right? There's different ways to give. And my best guess is that you give when people reach out and you're not charging people and you're helping people get from point A to whatever point B is, right? I want to make 10K a month, right? I want to do this. I don't know, is it yours?
It's yours.
Oh, shit. What the fuck? Pat, Don't call me when we're recording, man. We'll cut that. So the two parts, I was like, who is that? I was like, I always keep my phone on Do Not Disturb.
It's me.
Someone called through it. Yeah, it's me. Shit. Okay, so the 2 points on giving is you will go out of your way to give for free, right? Like in certain senses, like maybe you just genuinely want to help, but I think there's different types of giving too. For me, I realize that when I am giving my time and financials, right? So I'm donating to a nonprofit every week or every other week, right? But then I also try to give in person. And for me, my goal is volunteer in person at least 2 hours bi-weekly or 4 hours a month, right? Have you found that giving more, for whatever reason, whether you want to call it the universe, higher power, God,
Outflow
Buddha,
equals inflow, baby.
how it just comes in faster and faster. And it sounds counterintuitive. When you don't have money is when you should give.
Yep.
And
100%.
it sounds crazy.
100%.
But all of a sudden you're changing, right? It's not only the universe, you're changing your state. You're saying, I have more than enough. And it's a magical place. And I know you live in that.
Equals inflow. 100%. I agree 1,000%.
I love it.
Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't even keep a bank account. You know, I literally like don't keep it more than $10,000 in my bank account at any time, because like I constantly like move my money around, because I have the ability to create. And once you have the ability to create, like, you don't need a bank. The only people who like save are people who truly do not understand like how to create money, unless you have like
accumulate
a family.
Wealth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's totally different. You have to like somebody can come to me and be like, okay, man, $100,000. I need that in 2 months. Okay, boom, done.
Yeah.
I'll get that to you. Like, there's nothing that, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
that I can't like overcome. So like, I'll be honest, like most of my money goes to like my church. Like, I donate a lot of money to church.
Love that shit. Love it. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's just automatic.
Yeah.
And every time I give, like, I just smile. Like, that day is always exceptional. Like, that week, like, you feel it, right? And I think the point that I wanted to make about giving in person is that you get to see the lives you're changing too, right? So it is cool to send, whatever, send a check, right, to a program or something. But I think it's also really important to get involved and actually see boots on the ground, like what's going on here, right? And and for me, it's getting heavily involved in what the number one challenge or problem most people would say America's finest city has, right? And the city's gorgeous. You can't, what's the one thing that someone might say? That
COVID. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Well, that's anyone in the world listening,
homeless
right?
people, man.
Homeless people, right?
Yeah.
And so what I continue to see was that, I just don't understand the situation, right? But I wanted to find a nonprofit. In the first year, I was just trying to get involved, and then realizing there's an organization called Streets for Hope, right? And they meet every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. And so I joined a couple months ago, and it's wild because now I understand how they communicate and the challenges they're going through. It just humanizes the fact, right? Because it's easy to drive by them, and it's easy to see the tweaker that's in the middle of the street, like, and it's easy to maybe poke fun or like take videos of them, right? But then when you go and try to understand, and you're coming from a loving state, not once have I ever felt like intimidated or like I was going to be injured. Like, they know you're there in a giving state, and you learn about their problems, their challenges, man.
Yeah.
One of those things is they will get like 10 to 15 or 20 of the homeless people that they can trust. So that's a big factor, right, in the homeless community. But once you get like 10 to 15 others that you trust, they can afford to get a storage unit downtown. So what they do, whether it's going to be a rainy day or when it is during the day, when the sun's out, they all put their stuff in the same unit. But they trust each other, and so then they lock it up. It's locked.
Yeah.
And then when it's nighttime, they bring their stuff back out, like set up camp. It's almost like a camp, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I just want to mention here is if you ever want to donate tarps, that is by far the most asked or requested thing. I would never think that, right? Because when rain comes, or it just keeps all of their things protected.
It rains in California?
Dude, you've been here long enough. I know you just moved into the building like a month ago, but I know this is the rainy season, the next couple months. Man. But still, it's nothing like the Midwest, right? Funny. It's like a mist. I do want to hop in because I do want you to explain again here in a second to cap it off the 4 steps to being a millionaire, and just at least give the foundation, because the way you teach it is unlike anything I've ever heard, right? You really do break it down in a systematic way, and this is how you've been coaching all of your clients and the people that are actually driven, hungry, coachable, like they come to you knowing, all right, I'm willing to do whatever possible. I'm willing to give up whatever to make this happen. What separates you from other salespeople?
There's a couple of things. One, obviously, ethics. Two, I think technical skill, you know? And let me backtrack. By ethics, I mean, like, I genuinely care about people. Like, I just believe that it's not about the money. You help people, money will come.
Yep.
That is just the truth. Two, technical skill. Like, I just believe that I'm world class. And I'm constantly getting better when it comes to, like, sales, because I actually understand communication. I actually understand that. And then number three, I'm not a salesman. I'm a closer.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. You know, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that, like, there's a difference between being like an order taker and like a closer.
Yeah.
An order taker is just like, hey, you want to buy my car? You want to buy my car? You want to buy my car? You want to
Here's
buy my
the facts.
car?
Here's the statistics. It's 480 horsepower, 4 doors.
Exactly. And anybody can like do that, but like there's like very few, as you know, closers out there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants a perfect situation, but like your job as a closer is to take dog shit and turn it into gold. It's literally the truth.
Yeah.
You know, people come at you with all these reasons on like why they can't win and why they like don't win. And like once you like understand that, really people will only tell you no for, in my opinion, one of three things. They don't believe in like you, or they don't believe in like the product, right?
Yeah.
Or they don't, but the main thing is they don't believe in like themselves, and they don't believe they can actually do it. You know, and you got to help them like overcome that last part. Obviously, guys like us, we're not going to work for an unethical company.
No.
Obviously, we're trustworthy.
Yeah.
So those two are out the window. So like, let me show you how like, hey man, like maybe this is just you. You don't believe in like yourself. Okay, maybe you tried some stuff and like it failed like in the past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's literally it. That's the only thing. So like literally like, and here's a gem for you guys, whatever, any excuse that somebody gives you if you're a closer, literally, oh, it's too expensive. Yeah, that's like exactly why you need to like do this. This is going to give you like the ability to like create money. Like you already like broke. You need to do something different. Oh, I don't have time. Yeah, that's exactly why you need to do this. So you can like quit your job and like
I love it.
have more time. Literally, that is like it. That thing is like so golden. Because like excuses are just people giving you reasons on why they believe they can't win.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to peel back that onion.
Yeah.
Now, I want
That's
to
it.
reverse it because you just brought up a good point, and you said you got to start in the dog shit and move forward, right? And speaking of dog shit, what is the shittiest job you've ever had?
Oof. Well, I'm still like active duty, so freaking, I just got through moving a whole warehouse full of stuff.
I saw the pictures, guys. This is terrible.
It was covered in like, you know, mouse poop and like mouse like piss like everywhere. It just literally, it was the equivalent of moving about an entire apartment complex. That is like no cap.
I saw the pictures. I saw the videos.
Yeah, so I mean, I get pretty much dirty doing that, and it's just, it's crazy because they don't know. None of them know what I do outside of the Navy. I drive a normal car, but I just come back to like the best penthouse in the city, and it's just like it's kind of surreal, you know. It's very surreal to know that like people in the military wouldn't even like qualify for my apartment.
Yeah, and I want to speak on something here too, right? Because we met here in the building on the rooftop, and it was brief, but at the second, I mean, within 10 seconds, I was like, all right, we're definitely going to vibe. You have a full-time job. How many hours a week are you working in the Navy? Like, I want to give context to this.
45 to 50.
45 to 50 hours a week. Listeners, do we work that much? First off, he is closing. The vast majority of that income in $45K a month currently is happening outside of those 45 hours, 45 to 50 hours a week in the Navy. So on the weekend, he's grinding. I had to convince him to do a little window so we could just get him on the podcast, right? Now, he probably won't bring that up. He's a humble guy. So I want to make sure I speak to that. But congrats for you to get to this point, man, and to know where you came from, right? And like most people can't go or talk on that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people could have given up so early. I mean, from going into foster care and maybe feeling like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't my parents want me? And then having a dad, and then maybe at one point saying like, you know, he gave up on me at that time, right? I'm going into the military. He didn't see in all the work you've put in, right? So I just want to congratulate you, man, for the fact that you're here, and it's so awesome that we get to meet at this point. And I know we're nowhere close to where we're headed and what we're creating, and that's the most exciting part. But I do want to take a moment just to appreciate not only our friendship, but dude, you've made it to here.
You want to hear something really crazy?
Let's hear it.
You want to hear something really crazy? Literally, guys, the reason why I tell you like this stuff is like so possible. 11 months ago, I was living with a female. My ethics were like, I was just like out of like ethics. And that's why I wasn't winning in life. 11 months ago, I was just getting robbed, literally at gunpoint. I was staying with a girl. She set me up with like the father like of her kids. I got robbed at gunpoint. I was living with her, you know, and I guess she felt like some type of way, had like a change of heart. Her baby daddy or whatnot was like a gang member, you know. He came down, robbed me, like they took everything from me, and I was like, I had to go find a new place to like live, and like that taught me, you know, to like fix like my ethics, literally. You know, I'll just be completely honest. Like I was living with her, but I still had like a girlfriend. Like I said, I was not like ethical,
yeah,
you know, and like that's when I really realized, you know, like yo, I need to like get like my shit together,
yeah,
you know, literally. And like once I realized you actually gotta like be like ethical and be kind and like be in alignment, like my whole life like changed. Like I literally went from standing in projects, paying $300 a month in rent, to literally freaking living in a skyrise, to now I'm living in the best penthouse in the city, all within like the last 11 months. And like a year from now, I don't even know where I'll be.
3 months from now, you're likely out of the military.
Yeah.
Which means
doing at minimum a quarter
45
mil.
to 50 hours per week that you currently don't have, man.
Come on, man.
You got to wake up and actually start enjoying your apartment.
Come on. It's crazy, but it changes that fast. And that's the beauty of a digital like business.
Just the digital landscape we live in, there's so much opportunity. And I guess on that note, for anyone that's thinking about starting anything, given everything you know, what would you say to someone that goes, I want to make 10K? Not maybe in fitness, not in coaching.
Yeah.
Right? But like, what would that strategy be? What would you give in like a minute or two advice for someone that wants to get to the point, you know what, not even 10K, right? Let's say I want to get to 4K, because I think that's kind of a bare minimum where most people can afford their rent.
I think it's 10K, man. 10K is like
10K,
the minimum.
yes, but I want to
me.
make it achievable because, okay, let's do 10K. What would you do? Because I agree. You have to set that realistic standard. What would you tell someone that doesn't know anything?
Whatever it is, whatever you love to do, you can make at least $10,000 a month. I don't care if you like walking dogs. I don't care if you like playing chess. It is very, 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 very easy. And I know you say you don't want to do coaching, but if you just turn your passion into like a coaching business, because people need what you do. There's people out there who want to learn how to play chess, that want to learn how to properly walk a dog, that want to learn how to, you know, work like a camera or like land a client. You can share your talents with the world. So start an online coaching business. That is literally the number one way to change your life. Like, I know you said don't say coaching, but that's the number one way.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right.
Like if you,
we work with, I mean,
100%.
Probably like 40 to 50 business coaches, consultants, paid speakers. So yes, I'm around it. I agree. I see how it works. Get good at something that you love. And
most
teach
people
others
are
how to
already
do it.
good at something,
They
which
are.
is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And then identifying it, right?
Yep.
And that goes back to the earlier conversation about identifying opportunity.
And go high
identifying
ticket.
yourself.
Like, think about this. Like, people want to make $10,000 a month, and the reason why I say minimum, because literally that is 2 $5,000 clients a month.
Yeah.
That is not hard to do.
Yeah.
That is you can't teach
right.
two people
You're
a
right.
skill. You kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
It's like, and the reason why the people just like, they don't know what to do. Like me, I don't spend any money on ads. I've never run an ad in my life. I can't even spell ad, you know? And it's just like the truth, you know? You just follow the non-existence formula. I don't know if you want me to go like over that.
Do it. I think that's
it.
good. So this is the 4 steps to being a millionaire.
To literally a millionaire. So like if you're starting off on something and you want to share your talents with the world, say you're like a model and you want to become a model coach, nobody knows who you are. So you need to break out of non-existence. Okay. So how do you do that? It's literally a simple 4-part formula. And this is like the same thing that I like teach multimillionaires and have consulted with multimillionaires on to explode their business. Number 1, find a way to communicate with the group of people or people you need to get in communication with. Okay. Number 2, make yourself known, right? And number 3, identify their needs or wants. And number 4, do, present, or produce their needs or wants. You do that 4-part formula, you can do anything.
Could you so go through those 4 again?
Yep.
But just give one example for each.
Oof. Okay. Okay. Oh, this guy, he really likes you guys. That's a lot of value. It's literally super secret squirrel stuff right here. So as far as finding a line, find a way to get in communication with the group of people. You can run ads. That's what most people do. I do a little bit different. Like I just hit people up on honestly, on Facebook groups, pertaining to whatever it is. Say you want to to be a dog walker, go put in the word dog walker. Go put in dog walker in Facebook groups. It'll be groups of 30 or 50 or 40,000 people. It's insane. Number 2, just make yourself known. Introduce yourself, right? Number 3, and that's where you got to kind of understand communication. Figure out a way to identify what they need or want from you. What are they trying to learn? What problem are they trying to solve? Because at the end of the day, you got to help people solve problems. If you're not trying to help people solve problems and you want to become rich, you're delusional.
Amen.
You're delusional.
The bigger the problem in their life, the more they'll pay you.
Exactly. And number 4, just show them how you can help them overcome that. And you follow that 4-step formula, you can literally charge people $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and people will literally pay, and they'll be happy to pay. Yeah,
because they know they're getting from point A to B.
100%.
And you need a guide, you need a Yoda to help, right?
Exactly.
You need someone that is there in your corner that's already been there, right? Take advice from people you're willing to switch shoes with. Don't take advice from people.
Don't take advice from broke people.
Don't take diet advice from a fat person, right? I don't mean that in a bad way, but it happens all the time. I caught myself freshman, sophomore year of college taking some advice at times from people that I probably shouldn't have. Whether it's relationships, right?
Yep.
Don't take advice from your friends that aren't in relationships or successful relationships or don't have the same values in a relationship, right?
It's this ethics, man.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Congruency is the other way I think you can put it too. And where is all of this going for you? You speak about, doing $1 million a month, and I know very few people that actually have the ability, the systems, and the mindset and the work ethic to do it. I have no doubt you'll be doing it the next 6 years, or six months, 12 months, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Why the hell do you want to do $1 million a month? What is the big picture? Where are you 10 years?
I have a goal, and my goal is about impacting people. I want to personally create 10,000 millionaires in the U.S. alone, and I want to create 100 billionaires personally. That is my goal, and I just believe that anybody can become. It's so easy to become a millionaire. It is literally very, very easy. All you got to do is be disciplined and be ethical, be kind, be courteous, actually care about helping people, and have the right information. That is it.
Yeah.
You can even have just a good idea.
So it's funny because you explain it, and it is easy. But when you break down the discipline, the coach, right, or who's the guide, the routine, and whatever, the consistent, all of this, that's what's not easy for most people because they're not currently doing it. But once you start doing it, you realize, damn, this life is good. You wake up every morning. Why I love waking up at 4:15. I am so excited because of the unknown in the day. I am excited because I know I'm living congruent and I don't know what awesome shit's going to happen today. That is crazy. This is new to me, right? This is new to me in the last 6 months. This has been a lot of work in the making, right? And I still have a long ways to go. But that's a magic spot, man. And I love where you're going with it. I mean, you want to give back. What I love is you didn't just explain your goals and I want to be a billionaire, right? And then at that point, I'm going to travel or something, right? It's solely focused. It's not how much you want to earn, but it's how many people you want to serve, right? And I think that's a big differentiator. If you're writing your personal goals, don't write, I want to make 10K a month, right? I need to serve 2 5K clients a month at the highest level, right? SMART goals then would be the next level, right? Make sure you're holding yourself accountable. Now, moving forward, if you're helping all of these individuals, and I know you're helping individuals at pretty much every age range, but they have to be disciplined. They actually have to be willing to take action. So for anyone that might be listening to this in our interview and can really relate with any aspect of your life and just the way you see life, how can they get involved? How can they get in contact with you?
I'm open to having a conversation with anybody. That's just the truth. But if I'm being completely transparent, you can hit me up on Instagram, fashion _ the letter N, the letter D _ fit. So fashion and fit. However, I do, and it's something I struggle with. People over 30, 30 seems to be that magic number when it comes to this online coaching or making ways of making money online. They just don't get it. They're lost. It's they're not open to new information, and they still are stuck in that get a job, work, till you're like 60 or start a traditional business, go $300,000 in debt just to start a business.
Yeah.
They don't realize like with the internet, literally next month you can be making $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
And it's very, very easy.
As long as you have the template, right?
Yep.
Like there's systems, there's YouTube videos that show you how-to tutorials,
Yeah.
but most people aren't willing. They
Yep.
don't want things bad enough in life, so
Yeah.
they don't take time to go do it, right?
Yeah. I don't recommend they do YouTube.
No, I'm giving an example that
Yeah.
there's information out
Oh,
there,
yeah,
right? I mean, there's
100%.
Linda, there's all these different ways that you
Yep.
can do it. I think getting a coach or a mentor definitely makes a lot more sense, but I think there's a foundational place to start,
Yep.
right? To maybe see where your interest is. And I know that
100%.
helped me a lot because I've probably purchased 30 or more Linda courses.
Yeah.
And what are the other websites?
Udemy?
Udemy.
I love Udemy.
Just throughout time. Yeah. So anyway, I love that. So I'll put in the description his Instagram handle. Reach out. He's here to help. You can reach out to me too at Conor Paulsen. We're here to help. Again, Sean, I want to thank you for your
Yeah.
time, man. This is
Easy.
awesome. So episode 2 coming to a conclusion. Now, for anyone that didn't catch episode 1 with Kevin Dana, not only is a Mormon, 22 years old, that was the previous episode where we actually broke down some of the things. And what I love is the amount of similarities and parallels that you've explained, right? And for anyone that hasn't caught the first one, I know Oscar, the man that brings all of this together, the video, the electronic, just the magic man behind the screen, is nodding his head in agreement. So if you haven't watched that, you're going to start to learn every episode. And I'm just starting to see this trend that there are a lot of things in common in ways certain people think and the ways certain people take actions. And so be courteous. Moving forward, every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube, a new podcast drops, this one. So make sure you're looking. That would be 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you on the inside.